Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg for pre-need funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Funeral service for Donnie Cook will be Saturday, June the 11th at 1 p.m. from Community Funeral Home Chapel in Sylacauga. Visitation is Friday at the funeral home from 1 until 7. Online condolences at communityfuneralhome.org. Community Funeral Home, 511 Edgewood Drive, Sylacauga, directing. Funeral service for Robert Bob Good Jernigan, age 85, will be Saturday at 11 o'clock from Radley Smith Funeral Home Chapel with the Reverend Dusty Jernigan officiating. Burial at 3:30 in the Antioch Community Cemetery on County Road 24 in Red Level, Alabama. Mr. Jernigan died Tuesday at his residence. Visitation is Saturday from 10 until 11 o'clock prior to the funeral. Rather than flowers, legacy offerings may be sent to the Church of the Highlands or International House of Prayer in Kansas City. Radley Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga directing. Funeral service for Dr. James Pitts Temple Sr., age 94, will be Friday at 11:30 from the Chapel of Langley Funeral Home in Dadeville. The Reverend Ronnie Palmer and the Reverend Wayne Cowhick officiating. Burial in the Tallapoosa County Memory Gardens. The family receiving friends tonight, 5 until 8 at the funeral home. Dr. Temple died Tuesday at his residence. He was born in 1927 here in Sylacauga. He was a member of the Alexander City Methodist Church, graduate of Auburn University in 1950 in pharmacy, and worked as a pharmacist for some 5 years. He then attended medical college in Alabama, now known as UAB, and graduated in 1959. He completed his residency at Caraway Methodist Hospital in Birmingham from 59 to 60. Dr. Temple moved to Alexander City in 1960 and set up a private practice and worked on Church Street in an old dwelling. In 1968, he established Temple Medical Clinic and provided family medicine for some 62 years. Dr. Temple was recognized as the oldest active pharmacist and oldest practicing physician in the state of Alabama. Funeral service for Dr. James Pitts Temple Sr., age 94, will be Friday at 11:30 from the Chapel of Langley Funeral Home in Dadeville, and burial in the Tallapoosa County Memory Gardens. Visitation at the funeral home tonight from 5 until 8. Langley Funeral Home directing that service. Billy Leon Lester, age 88 of Childersburg, died Tuesday. And Billy was a Korean War veteran and served in the U.S. Army during border duty in Germany. He spent many years attending monthly VA board meetings advocating for better care for veterans in VA nursing homes. He, of course, was involved with his city. He served a couple of terms on the city council in Childersburg and was a longtime member of the termite working group that built handicap ramps around the city of Childersburg. Now, in lieu of flowers, a family request donation be made to First Baptist Church of Childersburg or Comfort Care Hospice, Pell City. Visitation is this morning, 10 until 11 o'clock at First Baptist Church of Childersburg, followed by the funeral service at 11. Brother Skip Parvin will officiate. Burial in the Green Hill Cemetery of Childersburg. Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for attorney Donald R. Hamlin, age 79 of Delta, is today at 1 o'clock. It'll be from the Union D Baptist Church with Brother Johnny Ray Hamlin officiating. Burial in the adjoining cemetery. Mr. Hamlin died Saturday, June the 4th at his residence, a native of Talladega. He had a twin brother named Doug. And visitation was last night, and funeral service will be today at 1 o'clock with visitation at Union D Baptist Church from noon until 1. Benefield Funeral Home in Ashland in charge of the arrangements. Homegoing celebration remembering the life of Patricia Ann Lawler Scales, age 74, formerly of Talladega, is today at 1 o'clock from S.M. Goodson Funeral Home Chapel with the Reverend Dr. Horace Patterson officiating. Interment in the Pine Hill Memorial Park. S.M. Goodson Funeral Home and Crematory directing funeral service for Mr. Terry L. Davis will be 2 o'clock today at Wright's Funeral Home Chapel in Alexander City, with interment in the Mount Sinai Baptist Church Cemetery. Wright's Funeral Home, Alexander City, directing. And graveside service for Donald Thornton Anthony Jr., better known as Donnie, age 67, Roanoke, is 11 o'clock this morning at Cedarwood Cemetery. Brother Tim Whaley officiating. Steve Daniel will deliver the eulogy. Mr. Anthony died Sunday, June 5th at East Alabama Medical Center in Opelika. In lieu of flowers, a family request memorial contributions be made to the Lowell United Methodist Church, 325 Hanley Avenue, Roanoke, Alabama, 36274. Online condolences at quattlebaumfuneralhome.com. Quattlebaum Funeral Home in Roanoke in charge of the arrangements. This obituary report this morning, courtesy of Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. 256-245-4361 for pre-need to at-need funeral services since 1975. Funerals, burials, or cremations. It's Curtis & Son Funeral Home.